Water is life, water is an essential service, and we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.
Hello and welcome to The Reporter, a news and current affairs program that goes beyond the headlines, bringing reporters from the field to give first-hand accounts and in-depth analysis of unfolding issues, correspondence, perspectives, ensuring balanced, credible, and comprehensive storytelling. Welcome once again. I am Aniete Patrick. Preparations for the forthcoming Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections have entered an advanced stage as the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) announces commencement of key pre-election activities ahead of the February 21st polls. The Resident Electoral Commissioner (INEC) FCT Aminu Kashimu Idris disclosed this while briefing journalists in Abuja on the Commission's level of preparedness for the election. Topsy Gimba has the rest of the story.
The Resident Electoral Commissioner, INEC FCT Aminu Kashimu Idris says INEC has concluded major groundwork, including online registration and physical capturing of eligible voters to ensure a smooth and credible electoral process. According to him, the Commission has published over 1 million registered voters who are expected to elect 6 area council chairmen and 62 councillors across the 6 area councils of the Federal Capital Territory.
Let me begin with the area of registration of voters. You will recall that the Commission had a continuous voter registration exercise which started from the 18th of August with the online registration and then became in person on 25th of August. Was scheduled to end on the 8th of October, but the Commission extended it by 4 days, and it concluded on the 12th of October.
The INEC boss further announced that the collection of permanent voter cards, PVCs, will commence on Thursday, urging residents to visit designated centers within their respective area councils to collect their cards and participate actively in the electoral process.
We are about to give out all the PVCs that we have for the new registered voters, as well as those who have not collected from previous CVs or CVR. Their PVC is still available. They can collect it within this period. And of course, after Monday, the collection will be strictly done at the area council office, not at the area.
The Administrative Secretary INEC FCT Bimbo Oladunjoye stressed the importance of the PVC collection exercise and call on residents to take ownership of the process by turning out in large numbers. INEC reassured residents of the Abuja of its commitment to delivering a credible area council election. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
Hello.
Gimba to bring us up to speed and tell us what went down that particular event. Hello, Topsy Gimba. It's good to have you join us on The Reporter. Hello, Topsy. Topsy, can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit louder. I can hear you, not very faintly.
Okay, can you hear me now? I think I'm loud enough now.
A little bit anyway, but can you hear me?
All right, Topsy, I can hear you. And let's quickly get this straight. With over 1 million registered voters published, will the commencement of the PVC collection translate into strong voter turnout in the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections come 21st of February?
Absolutely, that's the way it's supposed to be, if you're hearing me correctly, Aniete. The Resident Electoral Commissioner, in the person of Aminu Kashimu Idris, who addressed the press on the preparation towards 21st February election here in FCT, he said over 1 million of these people that registered, both online and physical capturing, are now prepared for the election. But the question here is, there are some PVC, that's permanent voters card, yet to be collected. And then he now clearly said that those who have not collected due to one reason or the other, they're expected to go to their various words. The offices will be opening all the way from Monday to Sunday, no weekend. So anybody that has not collected and realizes that he or she needs to get the card should not know that from Monday, that's Thursday, tomorrow, all the way, including weekend till Monday, I guess, for them to get their cards from where they registered.
Right now, how prepared is INEC to convert its completed registration and logistics into truly credible and hitch-free poll across the 6 area councils of the FCT? Since you said all that has been put together, but how prepared are they to ensure credible and hitch-free process?
Yeah, of course, the INEC area 10 is very much ready, Anita, I must confess that, because everything that's required to put in place, that has been done. And you can imagine how they got prepared well ahead of time last year. You know, we're telling the residents of the Abuja to get prepared by coming to register the online. That was on the 18th of September. And then the physical culture was on the 25th of September. And then they closed it on October, and then it continued. But officially, that was how they arranged it. To tell you that indeed they're very much prepared. And like the way the resident electoral commission had said, he's very optimistic that the election will be fair, credible, and fair at the end of the day. And of course, today it was a meeting held between the resident electoral commissioner with the security to ensure that everything is being done without any commotion or some insecurity along the line in that process.
Urging residents to collect their PVCs. What more can be done to drive voter participation and ownership of the electoral process in Abuja? Because across, we've always seen the issue of voter apathy taking place across electoral polling units at some elections, or over time we've seen that. But how will this PVC bring back into voter participation for the electorate?
Yeah, like you rightly mentioned, generally, voter apathy is not only found in Abuja alone or in the FCT. There is this voter apathy cutting across Nigeria, particularly when either the National Assembly election will be conducted, like the presidential, the National Assembly, any other one, they tend to play around with it. Because people are beginning to think differently, that the vote they cast is not what is being counted. And that again creates in their mind that lukewarm attitude, whether or not to come out and vote. That's exactly what it is. But like in the FCT, for instance, as I tell you this right now, the residents are very much prepared. I don't think there will be this issue of voter apathy, because all that's supposed to be done has been done, getting ahead towards the election on the 21st of February. And again, the resident electoral commissioner categorically mentioned the need to create awareness using radio, television, so that at the end of the day, those who have not had about what's supposed to be done, they need to listen or watch the television to get informed about what is expected of them as citizens or residents of this FCT towards the election that we expect to hold on 21st of February 2026.
To speed on that, and we look forward to more engagements with the FCT INEC office to see how the election will go through on that particular day. Thank you so much, Gimba.
Well,
away from that, the strike by workers of the Federal Capital Territory Administration remains unresolved despite a meeting between the union leaders and government officials in Abuja. The meeting was convened to address workers' demands and find a possible resolution to the ongoing industrial action. Kabiru Hassan has more for this.
Discussions, union leaders say their concerns were not adequately addressed. Hopes of an immediate resolution shade after a closed-door meeting between the Joint Union Action Committee and officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration ended without a breakthrough. The workers had embarked on the strike over unresolved welfare issues, including conditions of service and other outstanding entitlements. While both sides engaged in discussions, union leaders say their concerns were not adequately addressed. Speaking after the meeting, the Vice President of the Joint Union Action Committee said consultations will continue, but stressed that the strike remains in force until workers' demands are fully met.
The reason is that the strike continues. There is no headway. If we can achieve what we want, we'll call off. If not so, we are going on, and by the grace of God, I know God will give us the energy to sustain this strike. So many. We have issue of promotion, our wage award, issue of promotion, pension, NHIS, and so many other things. So many. We have up to 22. Yeah, I've already given them, and they are not upcoming. So many guys. We ask them to at least, even if it is 50% of what we have asked for, if they can do it, so they will call off the strike.
The FCTA has faced a shutdown as the Joint Union Action Committee of the FCTA embark on a strike over unmet demands. And after an emergency meeting with the FCTA officials, the union said strike continues despite no resolutions were made, but promised to call off strike if demands are met. I am Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News. Hopes of an immediate resolution.
And joining me right now is Kabir Hassan to give us more in-depth on that particular report, where we saw him speaking to the FCT workers there, speaking their truth to this. Hello, Kabir. It's good to have you join us on the reporter.
Hello, good evening. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, amazing. It's good to have you join me. Let's talk straight on this. Talks between the FCT administration and labor unions ended without a breakthrough. What were the key sticking points that prevented an agreement from being reached?
Yeah. So after the union, the JUAC has initially earlier last week made some requests to the FCTA officials about some welfare issues, which the FCTA promised to fulfill them, but is still yet to fulfill them. So on Monday they had a meeting with the officials. So and there was no resolution. No resolutions were made. So the officials, the union said they will continue on strike till when their demands are being met.
Expected to continue, obviously. What options are left on the table to resolve this impasse, and how long can essential services in the FCT withstand this prolonged strike? Because, of course, essential services will be needed. How long do you think this can take?
So there were some reports from the FCTA that said about some of their demands have been met, but the union debunked that claim, said no demands were made, so they will continue on that strike. We are still hoping to see if the FCTA can meet with those demands or will the strike continues. But currently now, the union said their strike continues because no resolutions were made.
FCT had said they had met 10 out of the workers' demands that have really been met, but from what you're saying now, that's not even what it is. You're saying they still have more to discuss. But I'm looking at this. If we have all of this in place, what options are left? If this consultation continues and nothing comes out, there are, of course, essential services. How long can the essential services in the FCT stay away and not give services back to the people?
What's currently now is that the FCTS are working with the union labor to see how they can suspend the strike, but the union assured that when their demands are being met, they will call off the strike.
Gabriel, just keep us up to speed and keep tabs and tell us as more things unveil in the course of this industrial action. Thank you so much, Kabir.
Oh, thank you.
Well, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says Nigeria is no longer a safe haven for drug traffickers and barons following significant operational successes recorded by the agency over the last 5 years. Chairman of the agency, General Buba Mawa, announced this at the awards and commendation ceremony to outstanding staff of the agency in Abuja. Saadatu Garba was there for Global Television.
At the occasion, General Buba Marwa restates the determination of the NDLEA to bring every drug baron to justice, while it continues to take all necessary measures to intercept illicit drugs coming into Nigeria.
It is therefore heartwarming to note that in the last 5 years, we recorded significant operational successes, including the arrest of 77,792 drug offenders, including 128 identified drug barons who were central to major trafficking networks.
According to the NDLEA chairman, the past 5 years have witnessed a major transformation of the agency, driven by intelligence-led operations, strengthened interagency collaboration, improved welfare, and enhanced capacity building. He commended officers and men for their resilience, courage, and professionalism in the fight against illicit drugs across the country.
I commend the resilience, courage, and professionalism of our personnel who have continued to deliver results despite operational risks and challenges. Your sacrifices have directly contributed to the measurable outcomes recorded by the agency.
While congratulating award recipients, General Marwa warned that the next phase of operations would demand greater tactical sophistication, sustained pressure, and zero tolerance for complacency. He also acknowledged the support of sister security agencies, international partners, civil society organizations, and the media, describing collaboration as key to achieving a drug-free Nigeria. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says, with renewed mandates and improved resolve, it will continue to protect public health, enhance national security, and safeguard the future of Nigeria's youth. Sadat Garba, reporting for Global Television. At the occasion, General Buba Marwa restates the determination of the NDLEA.
And joining us now is our correspondent, Saadatu Garba, to give us more on this report. Hello, Saadatu. It's good to have you join us on The Reporter.
Hello, Miss Anita. Thank you for having me.
Amazing, Saadatu. Well, 5 years on, NDLEA says Nigeria is no longer a safe haven for drug barons. What concrete operational gains back this claim?
Okay, thank you so much. The chairman of the NDLEA, General Buba Marwa, stated during the award ceremony that in the last 5 years, the NDLEA has recorded the arrest of 77,792 drug offenders, including 128 identified drug barons. He also stated that the NDLEA has seized a total of 14,847 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs, which significantly disrupted local and transnational supply chains. According to the chairman, he also mentioned that in the balanced approach, 24,442 drug users benefited from the treatment, counseling, and rehabilitation programs, while 13,735 drug abuse sensitization activities were conducted nationwide.
How sustainable are these success going forward? Because like you've given us the breakdown of all the things that were done, but do you see this being sustainable going forward, looking at the achievements in the last 5 years?
Yes, based on this statement by the chairman, that in the second tenure, the war against drug abuse and trafficking will be escalated to an efficient level. And he also encouraged the commanders and the personnel to ensure that their efforts will demand greater grit, tactical sophistication, and sustained pressure against drug abuse and trafficking in Nigeria. Thank you.
The agency signals a tougher next phase. Of course, like you said, zero tolerance will not be given to that particular drug thing. What changes should Nigerians expect in NDLEA strategy and impact on drug nationwide?
Okay, according to what the chairman said, more efforts will be put, especially on roads personnel. They are going to deploy more personnel on the road to be checking cars, traveling, and people that are trafficking drugs while traveling, and also within each city. They will ensure that rates will be increased to reduce the level of drug abuse and also trafficking within cities in Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Saadatu, for being a part of the reporter. Well, we really look forward to more engagement from the NDLEA as they look forward to more strategy ahead of drug trafficking and all its impact on the nation. Thank you so much, Saadatu. Let's move away from that. California Governor Gavin Newsom has urged European leaders to stop appeasing the United States President Donald Trump, saying the president's tariff threats over Greenland are absurd. Speaking on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, Newsom described the Europeans for what he called their complicity in failing to stand up to Donald Trump's demands that he had been allowed to buy or annex Greenland. Uyi Agumofebe completes the story.
Newsom, a front-runner among Democratic candidates for president in 2028, told reporters at the World Economic Forum in Davos that Europeans were being played by Trump and that their efforts to negotiate with him are not diplomacy but sheer naivety. He has challenged Europe to avoid being seen as weak by the Trump administration.
He's insulting you and your country, European allies. What he's promoting is madness in Greenland, these tariffs. He can't take Greenland by military force. He could, but it's so overwhelmingly opposed in the United States, he's in a bit of a pickle. And so the European Union should hit him in the face and push back very aggressively. Fight fire with fire. Trump is weak. He's weakness masquerading as strength.
European leaders have been hesitant to risk an open rupture in ties with the U.S., which is a major trading partner and on which Europe relies for much of its security. A number of European leaders have vied for the role of Trump whisperer as they have sought to prevent him from withdrawing support for Ukraine or pulling out of NATO. However, Trump's demands that he be allowed to take over Greenland, which is a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark, and his threat to tariff European governments until the territory is given to him, have elicited confusion, anger and proposals to retaliate by levying Europe's own tariffs against the United States. Uyi Agumofebe, reporting for Global TV News. Newsom, a front-runner among Democratic candidates for president in 2020.
And joining me live in the studio, of course, to bring us up to speed is our correspondent, Uyi Agumofebe, to, of course, bring us up to speed what's happening in Switzerland. I was just asking him behind the scene. Uyi, it's good to have you join us. And I was just asking before we got in here to understand how this can play out in Nigeria. But before we do that, let's get to this first. Is Gavin Newsom's call for Europe to confront Donald Trump's a realistic strategy? Let's start with that first.
Well, you see, politicians don't look at reality or what is realistic. Instead, they are more interested in what is of interest to them. Short term, medium term, long term. Of course, for the most part, the European Union, or if you like, the European continent as we know it, is an ally of the US, all right, on many fronts, defense, trade, diplomacy, and what have you. So even though we now have this Greenland issue as it stands right now, it doesn't change the fact that Europe is also trying to be very cautious. Yes, we know that essentially they side with Denmark over the Greenland issue, but then they understand that when so said and done, they are quote-unquote friends with the United States.
All right, so let's look at it. Does it risk further straining already delicate transatlantic relations? Let's look at it, because we have these relations between the US, we have the Switzerland and all that. Like I was asking, can this play out? Can this really play out well for them in a smooth run? Looking at the Greenland involvement, which is a major talk in the forefront right now.
You know, it's a bit of, if you like, a head-to-head issue, right? So on the one hand, you have to talk about NATO, for instance, because now we're talking about Europe and the United States. You also need to now look at what's at stake. There's a lot of, I mean, the volume of trade between US and EU is quite a lot. And of course, Donald Trump in his elements says that, look, he's going to tariff goods from Europe into the US if they do not throw their weight behind him in his quest to, if you like, grab Greenland.
It's almost like land grabbing, like we have.
Yeah, exactly. Or like you are annexing, Greenland and all of that. But again, that's why the call made by Governor Gavin Newsom of California on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, is a bit questionable because now he's telling Europe that, look, you're being too weak with Mr. Trump. You've got to be a bit hard. You've got to come up tough with him. You've got to show him some strength and things like that. But Europe is listening while trying to be cautiously active on this because they realize that whether you like it or not, when this all settles, we need to get back to the table with the United States. So we have to be careful enough not to rock the boat.
Okay, so I'm looking at the concerns here right now because we see Europe is heavily dependent on US for trade, security.
Right.
Can Europe leaders afford to openly push against Trump's drive or threats over the Greenland, or are they left with a little choice but cautious diplomacy to apply with this? Because of course this was made during the sideline of this event.
They have to be very careful because whether you like it or not, they know that in the final analysis, human lives are involved. Like you said, when it comes to issues of security, when it has to do with trade, US and the EU, all right, they seem to, I mean, they're quite cordial, or as we say, they're quite cool. It may not be a perfect relationship of any kind, but for whatever it's worth, they also want to be sure that Greenland, just Greenland as a conversation is not, I mean, shouldn't be enough to, if you like, destroy what they've enjoyed for several centuries, or at least, let's say, decades. So, give or take, what this means is that at some point, Europe will have an eye-to-eye conversation with Trump. Incidentally, Trump is a negotiator, as a businessman, even though he's the president of the United States. So it's just going to be a tit-for-tat, as they say in Latin, quid pro quo kind of thing. So you give me, I give you, scratch my back, I scratch your back, and we are good.
I hope we can scratch our backs when it comes to 2027.
I think it depends on the length of the nails.
Thank you so much, Oyi, for being a part of the program. All right, that's it. And that's the size of the program. Thank you so much for staying with us on The Reporter. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and Star Times, channel 276. To stay connected, kindly follow us across all our social media platforms using @Global TV NG. Until the next time, I am Annie Patrick. Thank you for watching.
Be mindful of how we use social media. It's not just about the platforms themselves.
To the preservation of the national unity and democratic stability.
Water is life, water is an essential service. And we must have to carry out the residents.
Local communities are not only vital to the growth of society, but they also form the bedrock of humanitarian development.